Welcome in, everyone. Joe Quills here with you on this Thursday night. And no, I'm not actually in New York or whatever is in the background. I'm just using a background tonight because everybody called me out for using the other computer last night, and this side's just as bad as the other side. So, just need the weekend to get through everything. So, but anyways, welcome in. Joe Quills here with you on this Thursday night, the final night of the 4-day week that I have here with you guys with Bleacher Brothers, and we still have Saturday to go, but we'll talk about that a little later. But anyways, a lot to talk about here tonight. We had some breaking news with Tony Bennett. No, not the singing guy. He's been dead for a couple of years now. The coach of UVA. Saw a story about Fox being treated as an after Fox treating MLB as an afterthought. I'll give some thoughts on that as well. Um, there's a lot of football news here, including Cleveland moving, but no, they're not moving to another part of the country. I'll get into that as well. Um, Rashid Shaheed is out for the year. A new destination possibly for the NFL. I think this has been rumored for a little bit. We'll talk about that as well. And something that blew up my Facebook once I shared it, because those that are Facebook friends with me do know that I occasionally share a bunch of stories at once, and if you are Facebook friends with me, I do apologize in advance, or I apologize once again. But also, um, I do bring, and hopefully I bring up some good points with this. But Angel Reese says she cannot pay her bills. I'll give some thoughts on that as well. So, anyways, so it's Thursday night. We got football on the one TV. We got baseball on the other, and me right here with you guys. So me, I'm stuck in the middle with you, as Steelers Wheel once said. But I'm wearing my Boston shirt tonight only because that was the shirt that I grabbed out of the drawer today. So just coincidence and um, nothing, no messages to be sent with that. It's just I just like the shirt. I like this actual um, I just like the City Connect that they have, where they're making it into an alternate and coming with a new City Connect next year. So, anyways, let's get to it here. And also, if there's any issues, just let me know. And also, feel free to chime in on the chat as well. Um, so let's begin here. And um, okay. So, anyways, let's get to it here. So, um, first we had Cleveland ended up winning in extra innings on a home run, 7-5. They hit a home run in the ninth to send it to extra innings with two outs. So that series is now 2-1. The Dodgers are up 2-1 on the New York Mets, and they are up 3-1 bottom of the third right now. And right now you have Denver up 6-0, I believe that is. Um, they're on a commercial on Amazon Prime, so just waiting to see to confirm that. And let me see here. Shut up, Carissa Thompson. Just get back to the game. Get back to the stadium. Let's go. Chop, chop. The things I say. Oh, well. You know what? I'm just going to check my phone. Fuck it. Yeah, 6-0 right now. Denver's got the ball in New Orleans territory. There must have been an injury or timeout or something. But I'm not really paying too much attention because I'm paying attention to you guys. So, um, but it's been an exciting day of baseball so far, and I know my Yankee friends are saying our bullpen, blah blah blah. Well, my bullpen with the Phillies didn't do shit either. So, but at least you guys are still playing right now. But anyway, so breaking news that came out a couple of hours ago. Um, Tony Bennett, the coach of the 2019 National Championship UVA Cavaliers, is retiring effective immediately. And and you get you get to a certain point of the year, and you're only a couple of weeks until the start of the season, and all of a sudden you have okay, there was an injury there, so I apologize for um, anything that I might have said that was offensive there, because it looks like it is a broken leg situation, because I can see a guy pumping up an air cast there. So, um, but Tony Bennett is retiring effective immediately, and you know it's not an ideal time that something like that happens, and um, it's just um, weird timing here, because you got the basketball season starting in about 2 or 3 weeks. Uh, Virginia starts on November 6th. Bennett was set to begin his 16th season with the Cavaliers in less than 3 weeks, but he is resigning effective immediately. Well, effective tomorrow. They'll have a press conference tomorrow. Um, Now, sources did tell ESPN, where I got this article from, that it is not health related. So maybe NIL related, and there's some maybe somebody had some intel with the question that was asked last week at the ACC media event, but there's no interim named as of right now, according to this article here. Um, Bennett is a two-time Coach of the Year. The Cavaliers made 10 NCAA tournament appearances under Bennett, but they haven't won a tournament game since 2019, when they won the championship. So uh, Jim Phillips called Bennett a tremendous person and one of the most accomplished coaches in the storied history of ACC basketball. But I guess you throw the roses a little bit more when a coach retires, especially like a situation like this. Um, Phillips also said he's a fierce competitor, but one always led with integrity, class, and unwavering values. He made an indelible impact on countless student athletes and developed them not only in basketball but also as young men. Um, Now, the weird thing is, Bennett had just signed a 2-year contract extension in June that would have gone through the 2029-2030 season. So, the timing is very weird. And, and I don't see him coaching in the NBA, for example. But, something happened where he just said, "I just can't do this anymore." And it's better to know when it's time to go instead of being told to get out. But um, but Bennett has been critical. He bemoaned the direction of college athletics. Now Bennett was asked last week at the ACC Media Day why there was a perception that he could be the next Jay Wright and abruptly retire while still in his prime. Um, Now, I don't know if this was something that the media knew about, but a lot of coaches, a lot of legendary coaches have left college coaching over the last year or two, and a lot of it could be blamed on NIL. Um, Tony Bennett, this may have been an evasive way to answer the question. I'll let you decide. So if you want to chime in, feel free to do so. Um, Bennett said, I gotta call Jay Wright and see what he says, right? I've always said, when you're doing this, you're in this profession, whether you agree how it's going or not, you have to be true to yourself and really look at it and say, who am I? Can I operate how I want, and can it be successful enough? And you get to choose if you want to be a part of it or not. So, and here's more here. And when you feel it's time, like Jay did, like Coach K, maybe Saban, it's their choice. And you can sit here and complain and gripe, or you have a decision to make. Either you try to do it in the way you get to make that decision, So I think Jay Wright probably foresaw where this is going. It'll be better whenever there's regulations. Is that 3 to 5 years away? Who knows? But if it's not, those are decisions that every man has to make when it's time. Um, so maybe the media person that um, maybe the media person that was asking this question might have knew something, and and like Mike says here, it sounds like he's done coaching, and Nick Saban, even though he's in his 70s, Coach K, he's in his 70s. Jay Wright's only 61 or 62, and when he announced he was done a couple years ago, I said, "Wow, he's only 60 at the time." I was like, you know, or wait, whoa, he's 60 because he didn't look 60. He looked much younger, even though he was uh, gray, but he still looked. And Javante Williams gets me a touchdown for my one fantasy team. Uh, I just put I just put one of the backgrounds in tonight because I sat in your seat last night because I was playing around with different things, and I was outed for having a pharmacy behind me. I mean, you know how I have that set up, but you know, little things I got to do this weekend on my weekend off, and I got to realize this week that I am not off on Wednesday this week. Um, I purposely requested and got Friday off next week, and that was because I was trying to make it so I didn't have to work 7, 8, 9 days in a row. Because, like I told you, Mike, um, privately at Redacted Company, that I try to make it where my days off are set up in such a way where I would have no more than 5 days, work no more than 5 days in a row. Occasionally there'll be a 6 day in a row, even though it'll be two separate weeks. So if some people are asking that, it there is a master plan to, some people say mental health, and it's just making sure I don't have enough, make sure I don't have a 8, 9, 10 days in a row, because by the time day 9 or day 10, I might go badass crazy over at somebody. So, but um, I just think that you know, sorry about that. Coffee did nothing for me tonight. I just think that when you look at everything, you do have a coach here that probably did the same thing as Jay Wright, Coach K, Saban, and I'm sure there's a couple other coaches that were not mentioned here that I'm not uh, picking up in the back of my head right now. But NIL, you know, it is the Wild West basically right now, and they're trying to get it regulated. They're trying to rein it in, but the thing is, you really don't have any. It's just really weird right now, and you could get like take that quarterback from UNLV. He said that the assistant coach said that he was going to offer him $100,000, but the head coach said, "Well, that didn't come from me, so it's not a binding contract." So, if it went to litigation, it would turn into a he said, she said issue. But, it's just a question of, would the assistant coach be considered the contract negotiator or not? Even though it's just a verbal contract, um, but that's something as well. It's just, but you're seeing now where players are going to play 3, 4 games, and if they don't like what they see or they're not going to play, they're just going to say, "Well, I'm done for the year. Red shirt my ass, and I'm going elsewhere." Which, I mean, in some ways, I miss the old NCAA rules. Now, should the players get paid? Yeah. Um, I mean, but basically what you're doing when you're starting to pay these athletes, it turns from a $100 handshake or a McDonald's bag full of money into being on the up and up and having it be known. But I mean, originally when I thought of NIL, I thought it was like Caitlin Clark doing commercials for State Farm, or um, there was a quarterback for the University of Kentucky because they're in Lexington. Um, he did a commercial for Keeneland. And by the way, I hope you had that winner at Keeneland today. I did give out a winner that paid 1380 something to win today. Glad I looked at some of the uh, some of the stats for the sire, but and if you didn't, just read tomorrow's article. Uh, but I think that I really think that he's just getting to the point. He got to the point where it's like, I can't do this anymore. Get me the fuck out of here. So, um, and I think also with UVA, they won the national championship, but I think that he probably sees that they're losing out on players left and right because no, not many kids will want to go to UVA knowing that they're a defense first, defense second, defense third team, and their games are going to be mostly in the 50s and 60s. These kids want to play a game where so many different, so many different kids want to play um, a faster pace. They want to show off their dunking skills. They want to show off their 3-point skills. They want to be one and done. They want to go pro. And with NIL, that brings up an interesting point of, do you go pro or do you stay in college and collect that extra money? But if you go pro, you can get into that second contract quicker as well. So, Penguin, welcome in. Hope you're doing well out there. And Mike agrees with me with whatever I just said, uh, because I let it sit there. That's why, Mike. But you know, um, so I think we're going to see more of this, where more top coaches are going to say, "I've had enough. I'm out," and um, I'm not going to, and I mean, like for example, you look at Woj. Um, he got sick of what he was doing at ESPN. He went to his home. He went to his alma mater, St. Bonaventure. He became their general manager, so to speak, where he actually was working on NILs for the players and stuff like that. And it's much harder for a school like St. Bonaventure because they're a small Division 1 school that doesn't even have football, I don't think. So, but you do have a lot of things that are, um, yeah. I mean, but UVA does have football and all that, so they do have extra money coming in. But you're playing in a conference where they're stuck in that TV rights deal to 2037 or 2038. So, little, there's so much more than, I think there's so much more to just him just leaving. And I think it's a good sign that they're saying that it's not health related. But if it's not health related, I think we can put two and two together with that statement he had last week that maybe it is because of NIL and the way things are right now. He probably just said, "I've had enough," and there may be something else going on in his family that he doesn't want to say. Um, and like Mike says, it's like coaches are hitting the reset button, and he may end up in TV. He may just do the family life stuff. Who knows? But either way, he's he resigned today, and we'll find out tomorrow his thinking if he even says anything. But whatever it is, you know, uh, sorry, I was just checking something there. So Bennett is out at UVA. Be interesting to see who becomes the assistant coach there. Um, so I also saw this today, and I know Mike saw this, and he commented on my Facebook page. And like I said, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, I do occasionally share a ton of articles at once. So if you are a Facebook friend with me, you might have an idea what I'm going to talk about, and I may not even get to those topics, or something else comes up which is more important. But this was an interesting take by uh, Jimmy Traina. He is with SI.com, or at least he wrote it for SI.com. And let me do one thing here, and I will get this up and running. Oh, and I do want to show you something as well here towards the end of the show. So, um, uh, 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 let me find this here. And Jimmy Traina does have a point here, and I will share my screen here, and this is the basis of his article today. Let me go here. And of course, there's always a comedian in the bunch that you'll see in a second. Uh, but the point is what he says here. And Jimmy Traina says, "I'm sorry, but the NLCS airing on FS1, while the Masked Fucking Singer airs on Fox, is such an embarrassment for MLB. And if I had a bell, I would go ding 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 ding." Uh, of course, there's a couple of people who are comedians. If you guess the Masked Singer correctly, you can watch baseball. What if the singer's Otani? Uh, and here's a good point: two biggest media markets in the country. So, that's the basis of Traina's article here, and he brings up some great points here um, that that it just seems like baseball keeps shooting itself in the foot with different things. Um, Now, he did say about the Masked Singer being on Fox and all that, and I understand you want to be a multifaceted network, sports conglomerate, but but if you remember a few years ago, Fox sold off all their regional sports networks as well. So they're kind of in the sports business, kind of not. FS1 didn't do as well as they thought. If you remember, Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole, Jay and Dan, they came from Canada, and they ended up going back to Canada because FS1 and their nighttime show didn't go well. They tried to reinvent it a couple of times. It didn't work, but FS1 has been mostly a disaster, and God forbid MLB ends up on FS2. But um, but he did some work here, and um, the Masked Singers, the Masked Singer averaged 3.1 million viewers last season. So not that many, but the one thing I will tell you guys is, with all the options that we have now, and Mike can vouch for me. The Penguin AZ will probably vouch for me as well. Back in our day, because I am pretty old, even though I don't look it in some regards. At least that's what some of the ladies say. Uh, um, we only had three networks back in the day. We had NBC, ABC, and CBS. Now we had a couple of independent channels that were on our UHFs in Philadelphia, but other than that, it was just those three things, or you were watching nothing. But over time, we had Fox, we had WB, we had the CW, we had reincarnations, and also in that time frame, we had cable come into existence, and then streaming channels and all these streaming platforms and stuff like that. And you know, there's not enough time in the day just to watch TV and watch those shows that you're hearing about, like, oh, you should watch Ted Lasso. Oh, you should watch Karate Kid show. You should see this. You should see that. And then half the time, you don't even know what platform it's on. So you got to do all this extra research. And then you got to buy into that one. So, but even though they'll say, well, interest is waning off, which is true, but you're also getting all those different, um, you're getting all these different options as well. So you have a little bit of everything here that's causing those ratings to go down. But game one of the Mets Dodgers series, which was on Fox. Now, granted, it had the NFL leading into it because sometimes it's good to have a strong show ahead of it. And I guarantee you that a lot of the people that were watching that game, that were watching football before that game, were enjoying the living shit out of the fact that the Dallas Cowboys got their dick kicked in 47-9, and they did not go to Herman's Head, Tracy Ullman show, and whatever show they would have preempted because they weren't going to Carolina and Atlanta at Carolina. You knew they weren't going to that game. But, you know, because everybody enjoyed that dick kicking, they decided, okay, well, we'll leave it on there. But, we're getting good ratings because Dallas is at the 425 game. Let's go from one bandwagon team, the Cowboys, to another bandwagon team, the LA Dodgers. And also, you have two of the biggest markets, LA and New York, so that helps their ratings as well. Um, um, and Mike says, still, it is the NLCS. I can understand not showing games during the regular season, but it's the playoffs. Yeah, and but the one thing is, in my opinion, is that when you look at all this, uh, sorry, I'm also getting union texts left and right tonight as well. So, um, but yeah, you do have all this stuff going on, and you know, and there's some other arguments that are made here that I'll get to in a second. But you know, I think for the most part, you can delay the start of your season, the 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 TV seasons until November if you really wanted to. But I'm not a TV exec, never will be. So I'm probably totally way off by saying that. Um, but you do have two of the biggest markets playing head to head. Now, uh, be interesting to see what you get for ratings for Yankees and Cleveland because you have New York involved in that as well. And the Donkeys are up 13-3 over the Aints. And thankfully, I did not have a wager on that game. I did give out a prop on a stream I was watching, but they didn't see it. Um, the kicker for New Orleans, I think his name's Blake Group. And if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, oh well, too late. I did say that he would go over 6.5 points scored so far, 6.5 points tonight. He got 3 so far, so he's teetering right now. So, but we'll get into some of that gambling stuff in a second here. Um, so, but I mentioned TBS and the ALCS being there. What MLB does is they rotate. So next year the NLCS with the Phillies. I'll guarantee it right now. No, I won't. Uh, um, the NLCS will be on TBS, will be on Turner, I should say, because you may have a game on TNT, but it won't be done dirt cheap. Well, it's dynamite, dynamite. But uh, the difference between Turner and Fox is that Turner doesn't have a broadcast channel to air the ALCS, whereas Fox, when they put it on FS1, they try to hide it away from you, and you know, and he accuses Fox of intentionally going out of their way not to air the NLCS on broadcast TV. Now, I remember back in my day when I was about yay high and all that stuff that, you know, even though NBC doesn't carry baseball anymore, and neither does, well, ABC kind of does because of ESPN, but, it used to be NBC would have the NLCS, ABC had the World, but they went back and forth. So, you had like you would have days where the first game would start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the second game would be at 8 o'clock, and they make it as late as possible going to without having games going concurrently. But it's but he does have a point that Fox is putting it on the FS1. And some people were saying that um, they should have stuck to Fox. If Fox decided to stick an NFL game on FS1 instead of Fox, Roger Goodell might drive to the Fox sports offices himself and set them on fire. Baseball allows itself to be treated like second-class citizens. If you're a baseball fan, it sucks. Yeah, I get it, but the thing is, you have Saturday afternoon games on FS1. You have an occasional evening game on FS1. So I see the argument, but the NFL does not play any games on FS1 where MLB does. And, and also FS1 is an option that they can do because especially when September comes around, you have college football, you have pro football, you have powder puff football, you have two-hand touch football, you know, and you also have European football. But um MLB opened them up to being on FS1 even if it was during the week. And I'm sure MLB gave the approval to be on FS1 for the playoffs. So it isn't like, I mean, they could basically say, "Hey, you're on Fox. You can put this on regular Fox as opposed to FS1." But you know, but I get his point, and he said a lot of people don't have FS1, which is amazing to me. Um, um, but some people do not have access to FS1. But the one argument I would give, and this would be an argument that I would make if, let's say, my cable went out and my internet, I would always have the option of going up to the casino. But I'm not going to Sugar House or Rivers Casino because there was a shooting outside the casino today. Maybe I'll go down to South Philly because maybe you know have a little fun there at Live Casino, or I'll head up to home base at Parks Casino. But Parks Casino, their casino is a mini Westgate in my opinion. So if you ever been to the Westgate in Las Vegas, think about Parks as that, but probably about 1/4 of the size. So, um, so Turner doesn't have a broadcast channel, but technically they are associated with CBS, especially when it comes to the NCAA tournament. So you can argue that as well. And SJ is doing her Rocky impression there. Yo. Uh, Uh, there should be no H in Sarah, Mike. Just to let you know, I tried to do that. She told me to get the H out of here. But and Mike fixed it. Okay. Um, every time I wear this shirt and SJ sees me wearing my Boston shirt, she gives me shit for it because she knows it is the Boston Red Sox City Connect jersey or jersey or T-shirt. Um, and did I get rated here and I didn't know it? No, I didn't get rated, but yeah. And she got to smoke. Give her a follow as well because she plays a lot of those pew pew shooting games, and she also does a whole bunch of stuff as well. Um, but they're both Yankee fans, and I'm not going to hold it against them. Actually, um, um, I lost my train of thought there. So Eshe was saying, "What is that shirt?" I kind of answered it because I went to Fenway a couple years ago. I was like, I need something like this, and it's a fun thing. And to answer her question from a couple of comments down, it's because of the Boston Marathon that they did that. Because with the tragedy that they had about 5-10 years ago and everything else, I understood the color scheme and I understood why the Phillies went to similar colors because they were basing it off of the U.S. Basing off the city flag. So a little bit of that. So, um, and I got some shit on my shirt. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. And SJ didn't understand the colors. I explained it, even though and I think if you remember, well, were you here? Were you watching last night when uh, fellow Bleacher Brother Chef Tom said that I was a pharmacy last night. So I'm back in my normal spot. But I figured, you know what? You don't need to see all the shit that I have back there. So I thought maybe I'd make it look cool and do something different. So, um, and uh, and also she got to smoke. Especially if you're into watching people play games, the pew pew games, not the mind games, but you know what I mean. Um, and I have to remember this for when the Yankees lose, whenever that is, whether it's the end of the week or in the World Series, that SJ did say Yankees suck. So remember that, Mike. And uh, you know, I gotta give. I gotta. I'm having fun with you guys. So uh, and of course she has the emojis that I don't have, which I'm okay with. You can flood the chat with emoticons or whatever. I don't care. But anyways, um, but yeah, I mean, and baseball even put games on Roku this year, which um, I'm watch out, SJ. Mike put in his memory bank that you said Yankees suck, but but the one thing is, and it used to the previous 2 years, Major League Baseball had Sunday morning games on the Cock, aka Peacock. I wasn't a fan of that because I'm not a fan of games starting other than the Fourth of July game in Washington D.C. and the Patriots Day game in Boston. Other than that, I'm not a fan of the game starting before 1 o'clock or 12 noon even. But I just don't like it. And I kind of came up with the point that if we were more religious in the United States, um, we wouldn't be having games that early in the morning. But that's just me. But you know, but I mean, but I understand why they did Roku because you're trying to get some new eyes on the game, and what are they watching? They're watching Roku. They're watching Apple TV. they're watching these streaming sites, and guess what? If you already have the plan, then why not use it to your advantage? Like for example, on Saturday, I may be watching the Union take on FC Cincinnati. Um, Union are probably not making the playoffs, but hey, that's okay. Get to see them kick some balls for uh, an hour and a half. Maybe kick them into outer space or whatever that saying was from the Three Amigos, whatever movie it was. Um, but but I understand his point of view here, and I, you know, I think we've gotten to a point now with games on cable, if you want to call FS1 cable, even though everybody's cut the cord, so to speak. Um, you do have, um, you do, I think we're so used to it now, but I understand what he's saying that, he's probably some 80-year-old curmudgeon or something, um, but yeah, I understand what he's saying. So, before I get to my next point, I do want to share one thing here, and just a reminder. Also eligible Saturday morning. We're going to be looking at Keeneland again this Saturday. And just to let you know, if you saw my article today, I did give you a $13.80 some cent winner. Maybe I can give you guys a couple of winners. Um, uh, and we'll see if we can get some more winners here. And um, we'll go from there. So just to let you know, and wait a second, let me go back here. And I need a code word for SJ since she is one of my mods here. Just to let you know, no pineapple. No, no, no pineapple, SJ. Maybe cherries. Maybe apples. I don't know. But I do know one thing. Even though Enser says that is it a Lance Armstrong jersey? No, it's the T-shirt of the Boston Red Sox City Connect uniform. I do know that even though Lance Armstrong shares a birthday with me, I still have my testicles. That's because he had testicular cancer. But anyways, so I'm going to go off script here for a second, and what are you questioning if I still have my testicles, Mike? Um, and also, why were you looking at my balls the other night? Uh, so he's questioning my balls, and if there's a lucky lady that wants to inspect my balls, feel free to do so. If you want to, we could even make a, a fans site, a certain site that won't be mentioned on here, but uh, we can hit up Garden State Park, but the only problem is the only thing that's left there is one of the admission gates. If that gate's still there, because it's now a shopping mall and apartment complex. But obviously, Ensor, uh, uh, and we are. Let me check into this here from Stitz, not enormous Stitz, which is a great name to use for. If SJ remembers our conversation that we had till like 3 o'clock in the morning last night, the one thing I said was primaries are great when you have mail-in ballots because if there's an uncontested race, you can put in a name like enormous Stitz, and you can uh, give the poll counters um, give them something to laugh at. But let me. Uh, Now I am looking into this here, so that's why I do my own research and everything else. So um, so it is up to you, SJ. Um, if you want to take down the Rafael Devers thing, um, but I'm gonna say one thing. I'm not gonna fly it in here and Ensur says liar in the chat, which may be the case. Um, and we know this from, well, we're not going to ban you, Stitz. We're just going to remove that one statement. That's all. Uh, but um, but the one comment I'm going to say is this: I'm going to be very careful when there is an unsubstantiated report like that. Um, I think I know who the trolls may be, but if not, I'm not going to mention names. But I'm going to have fun with them. Like some trolls are going to give you shit, and you eventually have to ban them, and you might have to eventually. Who knows? But I'm a troll sometimes, and SJ, from all those streams that no, don't be don't be sorry about that because you have better judgment than I do. Trust me, because one thing I will tell you is I trolled the living shit out of SJ on her streams. I've also um, joked around with her on her thing. So yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna joke around with you guys. So I'm gonna play along with it as much as possible. So, but the one thing I will say about that report that I did a quick search and didn't say anything, I'm not going to float it on the screen. Um, if that did happen, prayers to the family, prayers to everybody who is associated with that player. But because the one thing I will say is, a couple of months ago, Johnny Gaudreau passed away in a biking accident in New Jersey. Um, the one thing I will say is, we were doing research till 3 o'clock in the morning, and the state police did not release the information that it was Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew until the next morning. But somebody said that somebody said that it was him, and it's like this. You figure the police department would say something, but the police didn't say anything, rightfully so, because not only do you have to let the family know, you also got to let the Columbus Blue Jackets know, Johnny's agent. There's probably a myriad of other places that they could go to, but if something did happen with that, it may just be because I have a Boston shirt on, just because I just felt like wearing it today. So, um, but I'm the one thing is I'm not going to fly it until we have confirmation. And by the time I fly it up there, like for example, let's go Samuel Dallenberg. That's a blast from the past. Uh, you know, I'm not going to fly something like that uh, unless I can confirm it, or there's enough um, there's smoke on enough smoke on X to say that there is something going on. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, but I think it's unsubstantiated because I'm wearing a Boston shirt and it's just somebody trolling. And SJ knows, and I don't know why she's put up with me all this time, but she knows that I do troll her, joke around with her, and she can probably fill in another 16 adjectives to describe me, including pain in the ass, even though that's not an adjective, but you get the idea. So, you know, we're, I will. keep that in the back of my head in case it is true, but it probably isn't true. So I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want to glorify that, but I also want to not totally ban them because we do get a couple of trolls in here, but I play around with them a little bit, and SJ knows that I got a warped sense of humor. Except she doesn't know the joke that I have about the guy from One Direction, but I won't even mention that either. So, but anyways, do want to tell you, I did tell you about that. Now, about also eligible, we'll be looking at Keeneland on Saturday. Um, uh, so also eligible Saturday morning, 10 a.m. on the Bleacher Brothers Networks platforms. I'll be looking at the races from Keeneland, and I did give you a nice winner this morning for later for this afternoon. So hopefully I can give you a winner tomorrow at Belmont Belmont at the Big A, and hopefully a couple of races on Saturday at Keeneland. So also, I want to show you that I want to show this video, and hopefully it doesn't get me copyrighted, DMCA'd, anything like that. But I want your opinion on this. Mike will probably have the best opinion on it because he's sat with me through so many races at parks and Delaware Park and all that. But this is from, oops. So this is from the 8th race yesterday at Keeneland, and Luan Machado is a jockey aboard Ultimate Strike. He's going to be the horse that's on the lead, and this is from the Pollock report. He mentions that the horse had a 5.5 length lead, only to lose by a neck and a wire. The jockey eased the mount, so we'll see. We'll let you be the judge here, and let me share my screen here. And Mike said before I go to the video, Sarah and I are friends because you are just as twisted as we are. Now, I don't think SJ is that twisted. I can turn her into that if you really want me to. But me and Mike are twisted. But anyways, here's the video from yesterday at Keeneland. So let me go here, here, and here. And away we go.
Ultimate Strike is the leader and leads it by 7. Gotta Have Dreams is out in the center of the racetrack and is trying to start a rally. Has gone from 5th to 2nd into the final furlong. Still has to catch Ultimate Strike, who's got a 5-length advantage at the 16th pole. Gotta Have Dreams is second. It is Ultimate Strike. They come to the wire. Here's a final run. And Gotta Have Dreams gets up. Gotta Have Dreams gets there.
Lots of drama in the nightcap here. The number 9 Ultimate Strike leading the charge at the top of the stretch, and looks like he is absolutely clear here. About this time, we see the number 7 Gotta Have Dreams start to pick up momentum under jockey James Graham, and honestly, it looked like the number 9 Ultimate Strike just kind of wrapping up a little bit early, and the 7 Gotta Have Dreams picking up the pieces in deep stretch. 19-1 on the number 7 Gotta Have Dreams, the unofficial winner of the nightcap.
So you do see there that the horse, that the 9 horse who was 13-1 was you could tell because the horse was the jockey was standing up there, and you could see the other jockey. He's trying to win that race, and he won it 17-1. And I'm sure that he's already had an initial meeting with the stewards at Keeneland, and premature celebration. Yeah, there's other premature things that we won't talk about right now. But it just seemed like it was. It does seem like that. The one thing that they said was one suggestion was that he may have mistook the wire because Keeneland does have two finishing lines at Keeneland. They have a short stretch and they have the regular finish. And the reason why I say that it wasn't that I call bullshit to him mistaking it is the fact that these sprint races that are at Keeneland, they only run to one finish line. They don't run to that first finish line. They run to the second one. And I think that he is a regular rider at Keeneland, so there is no way to mistake where the finish line is. So, um, I'll keep an eye on that for my Quills Picks winners articles and also Saturday. Maybe that's a topic I bring up with AJ or Frank, probably AJ, because he hasn't told me he's not doing the show. Um, we'll see we'll see what his thoughts are on that because it does look like that. Um, yeah, that probably would have been my 9 horse because I definitely would tell you it wasn't my 7. But but it would have been nice if I had the superfecta because having a 17 to 1 shot over a 13 to 1 shot will pay some good money. So, but um, but yeah, that was definitely definitely something that raises red flags. So I'll try to keep an eye on that for you guys, especially for those that watch the Also Eligible show. So um, now, also before we get to the football stuff here, just want to let you know that Rebet is our partner with. Um, I'm pulling up the email here so I can spam the link here. Um, No, I do apologize. Sometimes I'm so prepared, and some of them I'm so unprepared. It's disgusting. But anyway, so Rebet is one of our partners, and Rebet is a social sports book. You can bet one of two ways. You can either bet with real money, or you can bet with these coins that they have on there, which are basically tokens or points. And you do have a 100% deposit match up to $100, and I'm sharing the link in the chat for you guys. So there you go. And if you click on that link, you'll have a QR code to choose from, either Apple or Android. Use the code Bleacher Brothers, and your first deposit, 100% match up to $100. And also, if you saw yesterday's show, they do they did have um, the guys from the guys and gals with the dinosaur bike tour, and they raise money. They raise money for Christmas gifts around Ocean County foster children. And if you sign up for Bleacher Brothers, you sign up for Rebet, and you use that Bleacher Brothers code, and you use that link that I've shared with you guys, uh, we you will we Bleacher Brothers will be donating $50 for every new user that opens a new Rebet account by using our affiliate link and our promo code between now and Thanksgiving. Um, what they do is they make sure that everybody um, make sure that all these kids have gifts at Christmas time. And it's a great group of people that not SJ that AJ knows. And they give back to the community. And the video is on the Bleacher Brothers site, the Bleacher Brothers Facebook as well. I was going to play it tonight, but it's a half an hour interview, so I think I shared it on my Facebook page. So if you're a Facebook friend of mine, it's on there. It's a 30-minute video. It tells you everything that they do with the dinosaur bike tour, as well as the holiday drives that they have here. So just let you know, 100% deposit match up to $100, and also the money that we get from Bleacher Brothers as Bleacher Brothers, it will go directly to the dinosaur bike tour when they do their toy drive this year. So So the link is on there, and we can also help with the kids have a great Christmas this year as well. So just to let you guys know about Rebet, and also that uh, that um, how we're giving back to the community as well. So I wanted to bring that up here. So um, and I've already used Rebet, and I was over 2 again tonight. So shit happens, but we're going to we give to a good cause. So so if you're looking at a fun sports book, check out Rebet. So, and you can also bet head to head. The gentleman's wager I talk about as well. So now in a couple of years, you'll be able to bet on the Cleveland Browns on Rebet, but they will no longer be playing in the city of Cleveland. Why is that? Because they have chosen to go with their dome stadium plan in Brook Park, south of the city of Cleveland. Um, the Browns did inform the city of their intention to move forward with their dome stadium, which in a way makes sense, because if you think about it, with the dome stadium that they'll have, they can host a whole lot more events than what they'd be able to at Cleveland Browns Stadium or Huntington Bank Stadium, depending on what it's called this week. Because the article did say Huntington Bank Stadium, um, but either way, um, but like they had um, SummerSlam there in Cleveland. They can do so much more there. You can, with the dome stadium, you could hold the NCAA Final Four as well, and also with it being 14 miles away and outside the city, you alleviate the problem that they have with parking and traffic congestion that they have out there in Cleveland. Um, so um, the mayor, Justin Bibb, was disappointed in the decision by the Haslam Sports Group, which owns the Browns, to leave the current Lakefront Stadium. Bibb said, "We must be practical about our many needs and resources. The city's approach has always been rooted in fiscal responsibility and the long term value of our members of our community. As such, I'm deeply, deeply disappointed that our exhaustive efforts that the Haslam Sports Group has chosen to pursue a move to Brook Park." Now, it isn't like they're going to. Um, it's not like they're going to some hick town in southeast Ohio next to West Virginia. They're just going 15 miles down the road, but they're still going to be in the Cleveland television market. Um, and you do have other cities that represent a city and don't play there. I mean, shit, SJ's Giants, they play in East Rutherford. You know, even though they even play in a different state. The point that I would make is they're still in the New York market, even though she says that the corporate office is still in New York. No big deal to me. They're just in that market. Um, you know, the New York Red Bulls, they play in Harrison, New Jersey, across if you're going up the New Jersey Transit train, or you're taking Amtrak and you get near Newark, the Prudential Center's to the left, Red Bull Stadium is on the right. And, you do have, um, other teams that play outside their city. I mean, some are ridiculously far away, like the San Francisco 49ers playing in Santa Clara, which is about 45 minutes away. But you got different things going on, and there's teams like Philadelphia where until 2030, all 4 teams play in the same neighborhood. I mean, the same 2-block radius. But um, so in early August, the city of Cleveland offered the Browns a $1.2 billion proposal to renovate the current stadium and redevelop the surrounding property that would have included $461 million in the city. Cuyahoga County also sent a letter to the Haslam saying that they were backing the proposed renovations and were committed to keeping the NFL franchise in downtown Cleveland for generations to come. And the Browns have played on the shores of Lake Erie since their inception in 1946. They had that period where they had no football in Cleveland. Then again, do we remember that now? Uh, they had a new stadium built in 1999. They came in as an expansion franchise, finger quotes, because Baltimore, when the Browns moved to Baltimore, Baltimore was considered an expansion franchise, even though they weren't. And when the Browns came back, they assumed the history of the franchise, which is something that these franchises have been doing. And if the Arizona Coyotes do come back, which are probably not, the Coyotes would assume the history that they've had in Arizona. So, um, but the team wrote to its letters to their fans in August that um, similar to other markets in the Midwest, the proposed dome stadium will catalyze our region in a major way. The stadium's year-round activity would anchor a large-scale lifestyle and entertainment district, which that's what everybody's doing now. Is more than just a stadium; it's an entertainment district and everything else, uh, including experiential retail, residential space, hotels, and other unique products, drawing visitors throughout the year and driving substantial fiscal impact into our region. Um, so the Browns released a 2.4 billion state-of-the-art stadium and entertainment complex about 15 miles south of Cleveland. Uh, the Haslams have been seeking a 50-50 private-public partnership for the construction of the stadium. So they're going south, but not too far south. But we're still going to have, well, you're going to have cold weather getting there, but they're going to be in a dome stadium now, and that's going to lead to Final Fours there. It's going to lead to other major events there, and that's the trend now with the NFL is trying to get these dome stadiums. Tennessee's doing it, and it's more than just the football; it's the entertainment that comes with it that they want to do, and it's also drawing the Final Four there, for example, men or even women, depending on the size of the stadium. So, I mean, but in a way, it also helps with, maybe even though they have done some things here, um, they would have um, they would have, they may have easier uh, issues with parking and traffic there at the new stadium when it's built and ready to go in 28 or 29 or 30. So, so we'll see what happens with that as well. Um, Now I do see Denver's up 19-3 on um, New Orleans in the Superdome right now, the Caesar Superdome, and I think it's safe to say that the New Orleans Saints are not going to be playing in the Super Bowl as the home team. But one guy who would have been playing anyway is Rashid Shaheed. Um, He underwent surgery, season-ending knee surgery, and is out for the year. He's on injury reserve. I had to dump him on one of my fantasy teams. He had surgery in Los Angeles on Thursday to assess the extent of his meniscus injury. Here, they had to repair the meniscus, which is a 4 to 6 month timetable of recovery. Um, so the Saints, probably one of the reasons why they're down 19-3 is now they're down two wide receivers because um, Chris Olave did not play because he is a Polish citizen. I mean, he's got concussion protocol, so he has that going on right now as well. So, if you get a concussion on Sunday, there's no way you can play on Thursday. Um, so you know, so be interesting. But New Orleans has all kinds of injuries going on right now. Derek Carr has a oblique injury. Cesar Ruiz a knee. Taysom Hill has a rib injury. Pete Werner has a hamstring. Uh, Will Harris has a hamstring who was recently placed on IR. So they've been hit hard with the injury bug recently, and you can see it in their record. So hopefully, if you had Rashid Shaheed, you did at the very least benched him, and hopefully you got rid of him because unless you're in a dynasty league, there's no use holding on to him because end of the season comes around, be like, why'd I keep him? Because he wasn't coming back. So now this has been rumored a little bit, and I'm just peeking at my screen here. Dodgers are up 5-2 on the New York Mets in the sixth inning as well right now. There's a possibility, and this has been floating around a little bit, but this article came up today that I saw. A new country is emerging as a potential global destination for the NFL International Series, and that is Ireland. And maybe we can get them to play. Well, it would be nice if they had 33 days in a month because then we can hear them say that it's the 33rd of September, for example. But so the NFL could add Ireland as their newest destination. Dublin is considering an attempt to host a game. Um, Irish Minister for Tourism, Culture, Arts, and Gaeltacht, Sport and Media, Catherine Martin, said today. She said it's under active consideration. I think we've seen the absolute benefit of the real terms of college football. So you imagine what an NFL game can do. And they have had college games there. Notre Dame was there last year, I think. This year was Florida State when they got beat by Georgia Tech. And now there's two different spots that they could go. They could go to Aviva Stadium, which is the home of the National Rugby Union and soccer teams, or Croke Park, the traditional home of Gaelic games. So they have hosted college football on and off for decades as part of the efforts to bolster tourism and connect with the Irish diaspora in the United States. Now, it is interesting to know that the teams that have the media rights in Ireland are the Jaguars, the Jets, and the Steelers. So they have the marketing rights in Ireland. So you might see one of those teams there if they decide to go there. So, and by the way, the Flyers are in action right now in Seattle. And they take a 1-0 lead on the Kraken. While I'm just sitting on my crack, but Flyers are up 1-0 on Seattle. So I think we got all the NFL stuff covered for now. And I did share this on my Facebook today because I saw the alert on my phone. I get the AOL news alerts on my phone, and you'd be like, AOL. Well, I used to have Verizon Internet, and they said, well, you can still keep the email. I'm like, yeah, shit, I'll keep it. So Verizon bought AOL. AOL had, they moved all the mail servers to AOL. And when I set that up, you get the news as well. So I got this story today, and I'm going to give my opinion on this. And I understand where they're going with this. I'm sure SJ will chime in as well. Angel Reese says that the WNBA salary doesn't even pay for rent. Now, of course, she does have endorsements. I know what she's trying to say here when she said it. So, because I know SJ will say, well, she has endorsements out the wazoo, and that's true. But I know what she's saying because, in a way, there are a lot of players in the WNBA right now. Even though there is a new TV contract coming, which will mean that the WNBA minimum salary will rise a lot. I know what she was saying here, and I get it. So I also feel like in a way that did you not go to economics class for whatever high school year it was, or whatever college class they wanted you to take, or something like that? But you'll get what I mean in a second. So Angel Reese is one of the league's most popular players, obviously. We also had, you could also have the argument of, how everybody has turned Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark into this rivalry. Not only because they're two, they're the may eventually be the female version of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson or whatever. But you get it because I'm trying to total line here with saying everybody wants to throw race into everything, and I'm not. Um, um, it's the phrase "living above her means" that makes me stop and say, "What the?" Yeah, yeah, but I know what she means, but I'll get to that in a second here. So, um, and the point that she makes is she couldn't make ends meet if her salary from the Chicago Sky was her only income. So that's the point that she's saying. Even when you just see that the WNBA salary meet doesn't meet the rent because she's living in an $8,000 a month apartment or condo or whatever. So obviously she has all these endorsement deals right now. So she is making money beyond the $75,000 or thereabouts. But I get what she's saying because, there's going to be players on her team or throughout the WNBA that are making that $75,000 minimum and have to go play in another league when this season's over or have to get a real job or do whatever. I know what she's trying to say here because she's saying that this money doesn't go far enough, and they are going to be raising the minimum salaries because there is a new TV deal coming up that's going to raise those prices, raise those salaries, which happens in all sports, not just in women's sports. But um, so she says on Instagram, and you can take this for whatever it's worth. Hating pays them bills, baby. I just hope you know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally, I'm trying to think of my rent for where I stay at. Let me do the math real quick. I don't even know my salary, $74,000 question mark. And a friend off camera helped confirm her $8,000 a month rent for a luxury residence was more than her rookie contract pays. Exclaim and then Reese exclaimed, "I'm living beyond my means." Well, maybe not, but because she does have her endorsement deals, but I get exactly what she's saying. She's not saying it because of her. She's saying it for those that are making that minimum that aren't lucky enough to have those deals. And trust me, I mean, I would love to be in uh, a bigger apartment or even one with a second bedroom where I could have the second bedroom be my studio and office, but I'm happy with where I'm at. If I get a one bedroom apartment in my area of the city, the minimum is probably $300 more. I mean, I got lucky with this deal, and I mean, you, I mean, it's not slum. It's definitely not slum. It's just got lucky, and you also have a complex that has 8 buildings, so it has over 400 units over the 8 buildings. So it isn't like they're jacking up the price just to make money off you. I mean, they can make money off of everybody, and they have 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and all that. So, but I get what she's saying, and Mike says she said she can't pay her rent. You have endorsements, pay her rent. But I think what she's saying is more than just she can't pay her rent and everything. I think what she's saying when I reinterpret this from when I first read this earlier today, I think it's more the others that are in the WNBA. And I don't know. Uh, See, and also the one thing I don't realize, the one thing I don't know off the top of my head is their collective bargaining agreement of when it ends or anything like that, or when does it, when they can open it back up for negotiations again. Even though technically you could always renegotiate the contract. I mean, with my job at Redacted Company, um, the last contract extension that we had, it was like, I mean, we're sitting there, and then the next thing you know, there's a new contract extension, and we were like, they were negotiating, but sometimes you negotiate on the down low, and then you have another new contract. But you're not going to hear too much about my company, my Redacted Company, uh, having a new collective bargaining agreement unless we went out on strike. So, but I think the one thing to remember as well is people say, well, the NBA is getting has their well, let's just say they're rookies. Their rookies are probably making $4, 5, 6, $7 million. Let's just use a number in that range just for shits and giggles. Well, the revenues for the for the WNBA are nowhere near what the NBA does. And also, if you look just at the gate revenue, just that, you know, you're starting to get extra money on the gate revenue because when Caitlin Clark comes to town, Washington will end up playing at the Capital One Center. Dallas will consider going to American Airlines Arena. The LA Sparks will sell a lot more tickets when Caitlin Clark comes to town. You get the idea. There's some people that draw more fans there. The more casual fans, I want to say, hey, let me see Caitlin Clark in action. Um, and Mike agrees the salaries for WNBA are a joke. I agree. But the thing is, when you see the inequity of the salaries, I will I will gladly say that I think it's unfair, but I'm also going to tell you, let's look at where all the revenues are. Because, like, for example, the women's national soccer team, they draw more than the men, I believe. So they had a great argument for equal pay, but you have to look at the whole business model. And the WNBA, I don't think they've turned a profit in 25 years, but if they have turned a profit, it has been in the last couple of years because the popularity of women's sports now over the last few years. You got superstar players that are playing in the league that you got to see them on the college level because ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, ESPN 88, FS1, FS2. There's more opportunity to watch these student athletes become professional athletes, even though some will argue with NIL that they are professional athletes. But, you know, I think even though Mike makes a very fair point, and I agree with him, that the WNBA salaries are a joke, you also have to realize that you have, and this is something um, that the Players Association has to fight for their players is knowing what comes into the WNBA offices in terms of money with the TV revenues, the ticket revenues, everything else that figures into the salary cap. And, there are some WNBA teams that don't carry 12 players because their salary cap is full when they only have 10 or 11. And they have to do every once in a while an emergency player every once in a while because somebody got hurt and you need another body on the team. So it's kind of like the 10-day contract in the NBA, but you know they don't they don't have a they I mean, but you know, but the revenues aren't coming in, but they're going to start coming in because they do have a new TV deal coming up, and you are going to get the rise in salaries. You're going to get more interest, and you're going to see these these players get more and more money, and then it'll be like a snowball effect because now because you're going to watch because you're going to see more games because they're also going to go to 44 games next year. The WNBA finals is going to a best of 7. Um, yeah, the WNBA is getting exposure, and they are going to they're at a perfect time. It just took longer than what they expected when they first created the league because originally there were two women's leagues. There was the ABL and there was the WNBA. The WNBA basically ran the ABL out of business, and all the players that were in the ABL ended up going to the WNBA, even though the teams just disappeared. You know, you do have an opportunity here to grow this game, and even for the little girls that are out there that you know you know it's okay that you want to dribble a basketball or shoot a basketball or become become a pro athlete or become an athlete in high school or college because not everybody makes it to the NBA because what's that saying? 1% of those that play high school go to Division One, and 1% of Division One ends up in the pros or something like that. Same thing. Uh, well, my microphone changed. My microphone went goofy there, so just let me know if you still hear me as well. So, um, but yeah, WNBA is getting up. Test, test. You can still hear me. The only reason why I'm saying that is because, Mike, you know this from sitting here Monday night. You get the microphone uh, level coming up and down. So, okay, I just tested myself. I do hear myself. So, um, now sometimes for some odd reason, it says that you're going to another microphone, but you're not. I don't know, but I don't see the microphone icon that's below the video that you would see on EV It's not displaying anything. So, um, but as long as you can hear me, that's the most important part. So, but um, now the reason why I say going back to Angel Reese here, why I understand what she's saying because it's more than just her. I think, in my opinion, she's speaking out for some of the other fans, and probably somebody asked a stupid question where she gave that answer. Um, she has earned substantial off the court income as well, so it isn't like she's going from college to WNBA unprepared. Now, I did also say that did she miss economics class? Because some people just don't have the ability to earn an endorsement, sell a product, and earn that money um, from these companies. Because I mean, some of the agreements that she has are with Reebok, PlayStation, Raising Cane's, McDonald's, Coach, Wingstop, Outback, and Amazon. They're all those endorsements, according to this article, are worth $1.7 million. So yeah, I understand what she's saying, and but also you got to be smart with your money because there's so many athletes out there that have gone bankrupt because, well, on the male side of things, you look at Tyreek Hill, even though he hasn't gone broke yet. Um, Antonio Cromartie. They got so many baby mamas that they're basically their whole salary goes to child support. You know, and then you have Antonio Cromartie that 1 year on the HBO series. They asked him to name all his kids. He couldn't do it, and it wasn't because of concussions. But um, but the one thing I will tell you guys is I understand what she's saying because it isn't a. I think from what I was reading, even after the fact, I just think it's more about the other players than it is about her. Um, but yeah, I mean, but no matter what it is, you have to be smart with your money, and you know, she's able to live in an $8,000 a month apartment because she has all these endorsements. Now, the only thing is, you're going to pay a shitload of taxes as well. Um, um, but I mean, but she did make it about her. But I understand what she's saying. She said, "Babe, if y'all thought that WNBA check don't pay a thing, did that even pay my car note? I wouldn't even be able to eat a sandwich with that. I wouldn't even be able to eat. I wouldn't be able to live." So Voltaire's here. Welcome aboard, man. Hope you're having a good night out there. And well, I think you are having a good night when I peek at the score and see it at 7-2 Dodgers. Uh, um, so the one thing I will say here is I think she's speaking more for the players in the WNBA that don't have the endorsement portfolio that she has, and rightfully so. So, it is I understood what she was saying. So, um so we are going to get to the final part here, and just a reminder, also eligible Saturday 10 a.m. Um, and that'll be at 10 a.m. on the Bleacher Brothers networks, the platforms that they have here. Um, Voltaire's enjoying tonight's Dodgers game. Enjoying tonight. The Dodgers are about 12 innings away from returning to World Series after 4 years. Wishing me an awesome show. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Um, you know, as long as the Mets don't win, that's what I'm happy about because I am a little bitter because there was that call in the eighth inning of Game 4 where the fair ball was called foul. Now it wasn't going to lead to anything, but but the one thing I would say about that bad call was the fact that whoa, 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 whoa. We have to stop here for a second. We have to stop here. And Mike is still bitter. We'll get to that in a second. And I am going to beat SJ to the punch here. My boys from the Action Lab are here. Hope you're doing well out there. Um, they put on a great show. Um, Also, if you guys need me for Eagles Jacksonville, I'm in. I know that you like to bring in guys for certain Sunday night football games. Well, basically either of the Sunday night games. So, and uh, um, uh, they're they're a um, Chris is a Broncos fan, so he's enjoying that game so far. And luckily, I did not give out a pick last night because, well, I went back and forth. I originally said Denver, and then tonight I was like, I'll go New Orleans. But thankfully, um, we did not have any, did not have did not start it in time to give a wager. So, and eat, whatever Sunday game it is, I'm around. if I'm working, I'm done work at 7:30, which is well before the start of the Sunday night game with me being here on the East Coast. So just to let you guys know. So you know, anytime you need me, I'm around. So I mean, Monday to Thursday, obviously, I stream here at 9 o'clock Eastern. Wednesdays at 10 p.m. But um, but the one thing I would say is anybody who watches the Action Lab show, I would love to have you watch my show, but one thing I would say is I'm not going to try to poach the Action Lab because I'm not that type of person. If they're on Action Lab, if their show is on, and your first priority is Action Lab, go to Action Lab. I'll probably get into trouble for saying that from my guys here at Bleacher Brothers, but you get the idea. You know, they have a great show, much better than what I do, but I'm still learning. I got, you know, I, I even consider them a mentor in all this, because I'm just having fun with this, and if it leads to something, that's great, and if it's just something I do for fun, that's fine as well. So just hit me up. You know, I'm I'm open to any Sunday, especially when my Eagles are playing. So, but just want to remind you that the Saturday show also eligible. Uh, I think AJ will be on with me. We'll be talking Keeneland Saturday morning on the Bleacher Brothers Network platforms. Everything's Bleacher Brothers, I believe. That show starts at 10 a.m. Eastern. Um, thank you so much. Um, Okay, so next Thursday they're going to raid out, and we will have an extra long show so that they can go send their crew over here and hopefully get some followers here and get some eyes to the show. Do appreciate them. Um, and I also do that show on Saturday mornings on Bleacher Brothers. And Bleacher Brothers isn't here right now, but a lot of the shows that we do are on Bleacher Brothers, so that is the Twitch page for them. They also have YouTube, which I'm on tonight. They also have Facebook. They do, or I should say we, even though I'm using they, but I should be. Those are the only pronouns I'm worried about, are those pronouns. But anyway, so you know, we do talk a lot of sports as well, just like Bleacher Brothers. So just like Action Lab. So, and also we do have a promotion with Rebet. $100, 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. Uh, you know, that link is here. And with that link, you'll click on that, you get a QR code, scan that depending on if you have an iPhone or an Android. The code is Bleacher Brothers. Once you put that deposit in, Rebet will give you $100. And also, which was announced yesterday on the Bleacher Brothers show last night, if you sign up for this, and of course you got to be in a state that has it. And if you have any questions, let me know. Send me a DM, whatever. We at Bleacher Brothers will give $50. The $50 to the Dinosaur Bike Tour. Not only do they have a bike tour every summer, and they do some amazing things throughout the year. They also have a toy drive, and between now and Thanksgiving, the money that we raise is going to go to the toy drive that the Dinosaur Bike Tour has, and it gives foster children in Ocean County a Merry Christmas with toys and everything like that. So I'm going to share that video on Discord, on the Action Lab Discord, as well as SJ's Discord. Um, I will show that video so you guys can see that video, even though I wasn't part of the show. Promote something like that, because toy drives like this, food drives, I really like some of the stuff that some of these things, some of these the groups are. So this is definitely something. And sorry about that, Action Lab. That's something I got to check into the settings on. So I do apologize. So, but yeah, so we will. I will definitely look into that as well. Uh, so. Thank you so much, Action Lab. Thank you for joining me here tonight, and hope you have a great night. And I will catch you for your show on Sunday night. So do apologize for this, but I will get that figured out this weekend because it is a weekend that I'm off. So probably be Saturday because I'm going out for the Eagles game on Sunday. So thank you once again to Action Labs for joining me as well. So from there, we go to my picks. And love you too, man. Uh, love everything you do, and love everything you do, and great entertainment and sports knowledge that you guys bring to everybody on Twitch. So, um, uh, yeah. So we did have that one person that was probably a troll. And of course, now every time I see an alert from ESPN, I'm looking to see what it is. But um, uh, world number 9 women's tennis player Danielle Collins reverses course on retirement, will return to the tour in 2025. But I'm not glorifying what that person said because I have a Boston T-shirt on tonight. But the one thing is, you say something like that, I'm going to investigate it. So, um, but it is in the back of my mind, and you hope it's not true. And don't even worry about what they said, but you know, I'm just keeping it real with you guys and say, hey, I'm not going to call him a total BS artist, but I think it was just people joking around, and I think I know who the guys were, and I'm okay with it. And I'm not going to. I need a code word that is the opposite of the word pineapple, SJ. So uh, we that is definitely something we'll have to work on. Um, So let's get to the football picks here tonight. And like I do them on the fly here, and little pick here and there. And after the first period, the Flyers are up 2-1 on the Seattle Kraken. So let's go to football here. um, let's begin as I share my screen here. And I use I use DraftKings for um, my point spreads here. It's just something I've done for the last year or so. Even though Rebet is an app that we promote, DraftKings is another promotion that we have. And we have a whole bunch of ads on a whole group of promotions on Bleacher Brothers. Excuse me for that. Let's begin with the game that is going to be at Purdue. Um, Personally, I could just tell you take Oregon minus 29 and run with it. But the one thing I'm going to say is, even though you're looking at a game where Oregon will definitely win. So, if you want to spend $5,000 to win 100, go right ahead. I don't care. I'm getting the feeling, and, I don't talk X's and O's. I talk about gut feeling and stuff like that. And that's probably why I went 2-4, whatever I did last week. I'll have to look it up and update my spreadsheet. But I will tell you one thing. I think that Oregon wins this game comfortably, but I don't think this is going to be a 4 touchdown game. I think this will probably be like 50-30, 40-20, something like that. So with that, I'm going to tell you my first pick is a Friday night game. I'm going Purdue plus 29 at minus 110. And then we're going to scroll down here. I hope this game is on TV here, even if it's the Big Ten network. I want to see that because Northwestern is playing at temporary field on Lake Michigan. Um, I'm tempted to take the Temple Tulsa game, but I won't. Um, okay, so second game, since we are associated with. Oh, wait a second. I didn't even share my screen. Do I have it on here? Yeah, I do. I got to give myself one of those because I did not share my screen there. So, oops to me. But there's the first pick, Purdue minus 29 or plus 29, I should say. Um, UTSA and Florida Atlantic, they're two teams that have struggled this year, I believe. I know the Florida Atlantic, they haven't really done that great this year. UTSA, they've had some good years, but this year is not one of them. Uh, uh, Florida Atlantic is 0-2 in the conference, 2-4 overall. UTSA, same thing. UTSA is 2-0 on the road, 2-0 at home. Florida Atlantic 0-2. Florida Atlantic last played North Texas and lost by 4. That was a game where they were 5.5-point dogs at home, so they did cover that. They did not. They did cover that. Florida Atlantic speaking. Um, UTSA. Um, their wins have been to Kennesaw State, which is a bottom feeder in Division One right now, and Houston Christian, which is an FCS school, I believe. So they haven't really played anybody. They got blown out by Texas. They got blown out by Texas State. Um, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to go money line here. We're going to take Florida Atlantic plus 195 on the money line here. So that is my second pick. Um, and then let's see if there's another game I like here. I wonder if SJ's paying attention here because I'm going to do it because it's an inside joke between her and me because she always wonders why the hell do I pick UNLV. It's just because it's a 10 o'clock game, okay? But, it's turned into an inside joke. I'm going to take UNLV -7 at -105. So those are my 3 college picks for you um, for this weekend. Purdue plus 29 tomorrow night. I'm going to take Florida Atlantic on the money line at plus 195 and UNLV -7 at -105. And I am starting to post these picks um, in her Discord. And yes, I do need to set up a Discord. Give me another week or two for that. But those picks are ready to go. So those are my picks. So let me clear my screen here. We can go to the National Football League. And the one thing is, as an Eagles fan, I will pick the Eagles game, but I'll make you wait till the end. And there you see there, if you were daring enough to do so, the New Orleans Saints, you can get them at plus 23.5 right now. But anyways, let's get to the games here. And yes, we do have a London game, Jacksonville and New England. I'm staying away from this game because I think this is a lock that Jacksonville wins this. Only because I think it's a lock because of the fact that Jacksonville has been there for a week now. New England, they're flying over. They haven't flown over already. So Jacksonville has the logistical advantage of being 5 time zones away. So, um, I mean, I'm not touching that game, but if I was, I would take New England. I would take Jacksonville there. I mean, a little scared about the 6 points, but New England isn't that good either. So, um, here's a line I don't understand. Indy's a 3 point favorite over Miami. Um, Now, granted, you may have Joe Flacco starting. I'm not sure yet. Let me double check that here. Um, Let me check the injuries here. Josh Downs, limited participant. Alec Pierce, limited participant, or didn't practice. Trey Sermon, limited practice. Jonathan Taylor remains sidelined to practice on Thursday. So maybe that Anthony Richardson does play here. So, um, but Miami is so beat up right now, and we all know about Tua and all the concussions that they have. I'm going to take the Colts here, -3 at -108. That's my first pick for the weekend for the NFL. Um, the second game here. Um, Second game I'm going to look at here. Um, Kansas City goes into San Francisco undefeated. San Francisco, I mean, they have issues with injuries and Christian McCaffrey not touching the field yet this year. Um, Kansas City's a 1.5 point, 1.5. Kansas City's a 1.5 point dog here. Now, the one thing I would tell you is, um, if you think if you're a person that thinks Kansas City will cover the spread, why play -108 and give the house 8%? So you're playing $25, or you're paying $108 to win 100. So, to get $208, you got to put 108 down. Whereas that possibility of covering that spread and not winning that game is so infinitesimal. Why waste that extra 8% there when you could just play it to win and maximize your profit by playing it plus 102 there? Now, I was leaning towards San Francisco originally, but I am going to bring 1 point here, and Mike knows this all too well. Andy Reid is a master of having his teams ready to play after the bye. His record is insane, and it's part of the reason why the Eagles have always won after the bye week, even though they may not have covered, especially last week. But Kansas City, Andy Reid, he wins after the bye week. He didn't last year against the Eagles, but that was a double bye situation. So, um, I'm going Kansas City on the Andy Reid factor, and let's take the Chiefs at plus 102 on the money line. Um, and this is not because of Devontae Adams. I'm going to take the Jets -1.5 at -110. My thinking is Russell Wilson may be starting, and I think Russell Wilson is washed. He might get a little bit of play there. So I'm going to go with the New York Jets -1.5 at -110. I'm sure people will be saying, "Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you?" Yeah, I know that. And also, if you're thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win here, why go -110 here, plus 1.5 when you can get plus 105? Because if you're going to win this wager, you're definitely going to win that wager. So, but I think the Jets are going to win that game. Finally, since it's the Eagles take on the Giants. Um, Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something different here. Um, I'm going to do it. And if SJ is paying attention, I beat you to that, SJ, but thank you for doing that as well. Um, uh, I am going to do something different here. And I think the Eagles are definitely going to do this. And I definitely will say this right now. All the Giants fans that are booing Saquon Barkley on Sunday, boo your front office because you let him go. If you really wanted him back, he would have still been wearing the New York Giants red, white, and blue. I think the Eagles, because Nick Sirianni is a petty motherfucker, and he's probably going to be drawing with Giants fans after the game, especially if the Eagles win, which I would definitely say that the Eagles will be winning. But that 3.5 is a goofy line here. So you kind of want to bet that down to 3 if you're betting the Eagles side there. But I am going to take Saquon Barkley for 2+ touchdowns at plus 350. So I think that now it could be a touchdown reception, it could be a touchdown run, but I am going with Saquon Barkley in a rare game that I'm taking a prop on. I'm taking Saquon Barkley plus 350 to score 2 touchdowns. Uh, so those are my NFL picks. So my NFL picks are, so I go back to the screen here. Indianapolis Colts -3 at -108. Kansas City Chiefs money line at plus 102. And Denver's about to score another defensive touchdown here. Remember when Denver's defense gave up 70 points in a game last year? But anyways, Indianapolis -3, -108. Kansas City Chiefs plus 102. The New York Jets -1 at -110. And because I want Nick Sirianni to stick it to the Giants, Saquon Barkley, 2 or more touchdowns at plus 350. And the final one I'm going to do here as I clear the screen again. Let me see if it's worth playing here. Let me find it here. MLS. No, I'm not going to do it because I saw on ESPN bet that the Union was -105. It's -135. Not playing it. So we're just going to go with the NFL picks tonight. So you got those 7 NFL and college games here. So we will not pick the MLS because I do things by the seat of my pants here, and well, the seat of my shorts tonight because I'm wearing shorts tonight. But uh, but you saw those picks there. Um, so I do appreciate everybody coming in here tonight. Um, just taking a peek here. Okay. So that'll be it for tonight. Thank you, SJ, for moderating and being a part of the show here tonight. Mike, um, Action Lab was here. Voltaire was here. Penguin AZ was here on YouTube. Um, Let me see. I think that's everybody. And if I miss somebody, it's not done on purpose. I know probably um, um, Bank Boy's probably lurking around. Give him a thanks, even if he's not watching. And Sir, I think I know who you are, but whatever. And Stitz, you know, um, you know, just that me and SJ will have to come up with a couple additional code words there. One for not banning, one for just removing re, 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 erasing a comment, but I believe in SJ's good judgment over mine. So I trust her decision making, especially with Twitch and everything else, because she is the person that I want to model my streams around with all the hard work that she's done over the last few years. So I do appreciate her, and I do appreciate everybody watching on YouTube, on X, and here on Twitch. We will not raid out tonight, but we will be back. I will be back Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on the Bleacher Brothers platforms for Also Eligible, and I will be back here Monday night at 9 o'clock, hopefully after an Eagles win, so I can rub it in on SJ. And and so much to, and I know I'll have a shit ton of stuff to talk about. So that's it for now. We are right at the 2 hour mark. Well, 2 minutes over. So, but do appreciate everybody for joining me tonight, and we'll do it live Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on the Bleacher Brothers networks, a network of platforms, and we'll do it Monday here. So thank you so much for joining me. Wish I had a snappy closing phrase, but good night, everybody. Have a great weekend.